today we're going to make this scene, an outside city scene. Now you know so much about collage, you can have any kind of paper around you, copy paper or drawing paper or multicolored paper. I'm going to use construction paper today. You might want some crayons or markers or colored pencils to add some details to your work. And of course, since collage is like drawing with scissors and glue stick, you'll want to have your scissors and your glue stick. But remember, yesterday we looked at one of those tricks where you can tear your stuff together, where you can tear paper into shapes. So even if you forgot your scissors today, I bet you could still figure out how to do this. So this is all I have on my desk today. I have some blank paper I'm going to work on. I have my scissors and my glue stick, some crayons, and then I brought an extra piece of paper in case I need to glue some things onto it so I don't glue on my desk. And then I've got a whole bunch of paper. So I'm going to use construction paper today. I've got a lot of colors here. And I also found some mail. This was mail that was going to go in my recycling bin, but I thought, oh, maybe I can collage with that. It's not very fancy paper, but it has some cool designs in it in black and white because it's words and letters. I also have this cereal box. If you have a cereal box or a thin box, this might be kind of fun to build your project on today too. You might need a grown-up's help to flatten it out. I'm just going to cut mine so I have a nice big place to work. But again, if you just have paper, that's fine too, but I'll show you what this might look like. Cut this. This cereal was really tasty, but now that it's all finished, I can use this as one big piece of paper. If you are using a box for your project today, you might even want to fold it back so that you just work on one page at a time. And the other thing I found today was this tissue box. I used the last tissue and I thought, oh, look at those interesting designs. Maybe I could take this tissue box apart and have some extra papers to cut. That's what collage artists do. They use their eyes to find things that other people might throw away. All right, so in this city, we've got some different pieces we're going to make. We're going to do the background. Where's the sign? The background is the sky. And we're also going to make a foreground. And the foreground is what's in front. So the background's in the back, the foreground's in the front. So we're going to do the background first, and then the foreground, and then we'll add some details. You can see that I have some details of windows and doors. Here's some of that paper with words on it. And sometimes you might just want to draw details with your crayons or your marker. So I'm going to start with a background. And since I'm making a city, I want to make some sky in the background. I'm going to use this blue paper for my background. And I really like to tear things too, so I might do some of that to start my picture. So I have my blank piece of paper that I'm going to glue all of my papers onto. So maybe choose what you have in front of you. See if you have something good for a background. And then you could just glue the whole paper onto another paper. But I want to add some interesting details. So I'm going to take my paper. Oh, I like how that sounds. And I'm going to tear some strips. Yeah, that sounds nice. So the background is everything behind what you see in the front. Maybe I'll even use another colored paper. Oh, look, this one's kind of nice. It's got a bit of a pattern in it. The paper came like that. That kind of looks like clouds to me. I'm going to tear some strips. You can do this with your scissors too, but it's kind of fun to tear things. Now, I've got some background papers. And I can just start to arrange them on my paper where I'm making my whole picture any way that looks good to you. I've got my background. So in my pile, you can make your buildings or houses or forest trees, whatever color looks good to you. And now I haven't even touched my scissors yet. This is the first time this morning I'm going to touch my scissors. I guess I showed them to you, but I didn't cut with them. Now I'm going to cut some rectangles. I'm going to try to cut some that are tall and some that are short and some that are thick and some that are thin. There's one. Right now, all of my buildings have straight edges across the top. That might be what I want. Maybe I want to add a couple more interesting details. And there's very easy things you can do. Maybe you just cut a line that kind of makes a triangle shape off the top of your building. And then this building has kind of a tilted edge. That's kind of interesting. And then maybe this building, this to me reminds me of a castle or something where there's some edges at the top that are cut out. This, all I'm going to do is flip it over. This is the top. And I'm just going to snip out a tinier shape, maybe a square or a rectangle. Maybe if your building is thicker than this, you can do that 2 or 3 times. Actually, I could too. Maybe I'll do just a tiny snip, snip, snip. Ooh, that's kind of neat. I'll do the same thing over here. Snip, snip. Ooh, so tiny. Snip. Awesome. Oh, look at that little square. That might be a nice window. I might save that square. Okay, now that building has some details. Let's see what else I could make. I could make the top of this building curvy like we were just talking about. Maybe the walls are straight so that they don't fall in, but maybe the top is kind of, maybe it has like a cool wall on top that has some curves. Like at a museum or a library. That's kind of neat. What else could I do? I could do a triangle on top of this building. So I might do one triangle off that side and one triangle off that side. And now this building, I think it has a tall point. Now, all my buildings have different tops to them. So they started as rectangles, but now I've added some details to make them different from each other. They really look like buildings that would be in a neighborhood together. So once I'm happy with that, I think now I'm ready to glue these buildings down. So I'm going to get my glue paper, and I'm going to start gluing on the left-hand side of the page. And I'm going to glue my buildings across. it's easy to start thinking about stories that go in your picture. I bet some of you have been thinking about stories that are happening in your picture. Who lives in your city or town? Our last step for our time together today is to add some details. Some of you have already gotten to that point. We got to see some really nice windows and doors. So we started with our background, and then we did the buildings in the foreground in front. Now I can go in and add some windows and doors, and maybe I want to cut them with paper, or maybe I want to draw them in with a crayon or a marker, or do a combination of both things. So I'm going to get some paper from my windows. So you know what? I'm going to use this white paper for the windows. That'll be good for now. So this is where you get to be, again, an architect or a building designer, and you can decide what type of windows and doors your buildings need. This paper is kind of big, so I'm going to cut out just a smaller piece to work with. This rectangle can make 2 doors. Maybe that's a good place for a door. Maybe this one too. Maybe my door has kind of a rounded shape on top. You can start with a rectangle, and then I can just cut a round shape, watching my finger. This white paper might be nice to add some clouds too. Maybe I'll do that. Now I'll make some windows. Didn't glue yet because I want to just do some arranging before I glue anything down. That's how I like to do it. Oh, here's an orange strip left over from cutting. Maybe I'll make some orange windows with it. Out of this one rectangle, look how many windows I can make. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Cool. This orange, it won't show up very well on the orange building, but I bet it'll look pretty good on the green building. This is why I like to keep my scraps around, because they can come in handy as other things. This will make 1, 2, 3 more windows. That's kind of a teeny window. My city is looking nice. I really like it. I ran out of my yellow paper yesterday making my bee, but maybe if you have something you can make a sun with, or, oh, I know what I could do. I have this little leftover white scrap of paper. What if I tear it into 2 pieces and make 2 clouds? But instead of using my scissors, and instead of tearing the edges, watch this fun trick. If I crumple it up, and then maybe pull it out a little bit, that kind of looks like a poofy cloud. Maybe I need another one. Crumple it up a little bit, and then pull it out a little bit. Oh, I like those clouds. Now let's find my glue stick again. Maybe the easiest thing would be to put some glue right on my background, and then just push my cloud right on top. Maybe tissues would work good for clouds. There. That is my neighborhood.
Now, if you like that video, make sure you hit the like button to help us grow the YouTube channel, and hit the subscribe button to make sure that you get notified for future videos. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.